No matter how bad your weekend went, you're not Chris Christie. Listen to what happened on stage. There was besides the Job Creators event in Palm Beach, there was another Republican candidates debate in Florida. I think it was over in Orlando. And Chris Christie took to the stage. I didn't think I could ever feel sorry for this guy, but I kind of do. He lost it. He melted down and was reduced to yelling at the booing crowd. Check this out.
Yeah. Well, now it feels like home. Thank you all very much. Let me first thank the chairman and everyone here. Yep. Look. What a shock. You're for Trump. I'm going to fall over dead. Now look, every one of those boos, every one of those catcalls, every one of those yells will not keep it. Yes, sure. Will not solve one problem we face in this country. Will not solve. And will not make this country better. Your anger against the truth is reprehensible. When you think about the problems that our country and this world is facing, when you think about that, this type of pettiness is beneath the process of electing a president. Yeah. And as people watch today, if your arguments are so strong, if your arguments are so great and mine are so bad, then just keep quiet. Let me make my awful arguments, and then you can just reject them out of hand. But the problem is you fear the truth.
You fear the truth. Can you imagine? That was at the Florida Republican Party's Freedom Summit in Kissimmee, Florida. Years ago, I was on stage in Los Angeles. I don't want to embarrass anybody by name, but I was with a broadcast colleague who was doing the same thing, ripping into Trump, and the whole auditorium was booing him. And I said to him after the event, did you notice how everybody was booing you? And it's not a good look for Chris Christie. It's not a good look for anybody who's supposed to be a Republican, who's standing up there in a room full of Republicans, and they're all booing you. And you're yelling at them, calling the crowd reprehensible, calling the crowd a problem. I have an observation about people in the world. And I want to turn this over to you here on a Monday. We're in the Relief Factor studios. The PhD weight loss phone number is 800-655-MIKE. I want to get your reaction to the poll, the CBS and New York Times polls just out showing that Trump thumps Biden head-to-head. In all the 5 of the important, crucial swing states, Trump wins all of them. This is the New York Times and CBS poll. Nobody wants to talk about these polls. And polls are polls. I mean, maybe they don't matter. I don't know. Maybe they don't count. Trump's in a courtroom again today. He's going to have to testify. They're trying to take his business empire from him. They're trying to crush him financially. They're trying to crush him criminally. They're trying to destroy the guy. And the New York Times Siena poll comes out. The CBS poll comes out. He's beating Biden in all the swing states. He is by far and away the inevitable Republican nominee for president. Now, that all could change with primary voting, and we'll know in a few months if that's going to hold. Maybe we'll all be shocked and it won't. I think it will, but we'll see. So I have this theory about people like Chris Christie and that former broadcasting colleague of mine. And incidentally, that person is no longer with the company. And this was a big reason why. You can't insult your audience and expect to survive in that career. You can't browbeat your audience like Chris Christie did and expect to become the nominee. He stood there for 2.5 minutes and got booed off the stage at the Florida Republican Party's Big Freedom Summit and is yelling at the audience, calling them reprehensible. And he wants to be the nominee? I posted something that Red State picked up. Tracy noticed it over the weekend. Red State wrote about Christie's response, and they quoted one of my posts on X where I put the quote, "How to win friends and influence people." And then I said, not exactly what Dale Carnegie had in mind, Governor Christie. How can these guys expect to win? And to a lesser extent, Ron DeSantis faces the same challenge. So here's my theory, and I want to see if you agree with me or not. There's a lot of people who suffer in our world, and I mean by our world, I mean broadcasters, pundits, and politicians, people who have a public profile, people who have a platform. There are a lot of people who suffer from a horrific lack of self-awareness. They have absolutely no idea how they're coming across to the people they're trying to win over. They're oblivious. And they are completely out of touch and disconnected from the people that they should be working for. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But people who insist, like Chris Christie, on insulting their base, how's that going to work for them?